This is Patrick Roth, Senior Support Technician for UM Business Solutions. Today we're going to look at an interesting error that you can run into in SmartConnect 2018, or if you're using an earlier version of SmartConnect 21 that still uses the ODBC drivers in SmartConnect 21.1.0.947 and below. In this case, the user has configured a Microsoft Excel source map, not a folder data source map, just a plain Excel map, and they've mapped to a specific Excel file that in their case is going to be replaced daily by process, by hand, either way. And then and so the map will be run every day or on demand, and it would run against whatever the sheet that was configured. So in this case, D-202599b. And then for Excel, ODBC, it appends the name here, but that's actually not really as part of the actual sheet name. And so we can see that this particular file just has this one sheet in it. And if I run this map, it'll work fine. But what they noticed and what they're complaining about is that every once in a while, they'll pull up the map and run it, or it'll just run manually or scheduled, and it'll fail with an ODBC error. And they're wondering why that would be. So what they would be doing to work around that is they open up the file in Excel and then create a new file, rename everything for the old file, and then copy the Excel sheet into it, and then rewriting this new file, and it's fine. And so they're wondering, what caused that problem in the first place. So if we look, we replaced the file with a quote-unquote bad file. So we open it up, and SmartConnect is validating the data source. And slowly failing. Connection cannot be validated. And we get the error. We can see that's a Microsoft Excel ODBC driver error, and to tell us that the D-202599b is not a valid name. Make sure it's including valid characters or punctuation not too long. Well, obviously that's not too long, and it doesn't have invalid characters since we saw it worked before. In this case, the problem isn't as obvious, but it's complaining about the sheet. Now you can kind of see it from here. SmartConnect rolls that up for me. You can kind of see here is if we pull it up, we can see that the name of the file is right. This is a map drive. Why? The map drive does exist. I can select it and I can see it. But if we double click or click the drop list here on the thing, we can see that the sheet that SmartConnect read in this case that it found in the file is D-202588c. So what the problem is, and the underlying problem of this user, is that the name of the sheet that the map is configured to use isn't the name of the sheet that is really in the file. And so when they recreate it by hand, they're recreating the file name with the same name. They're recreating the sheet name with the expected name. But then when they're copying the file from the data from the quote unquote bad file to the good file, they hadn't noticed that the sheet name is different. So two solutions for this, three solutions perhaps. Obviously do what they do, just copy and do it, but just as easy is just open up Excel and then just rename the sheet. You don't have to recreate the file, just rename the sheet to D-202599b like it expects to, and the SmartConnect will be just fine. The other possibility is do what I'm doing here, is when I get that error, of course manually, is that you would just open up the file, notice because of the error that the sheet name obviously is not right, and just pull it up and then just switch the sheet name. And if I run this, this is going to work just fine because we switched the sheet. So ODBC will be able to read it and we don't get an error. The other possibility, and what I'm not going to show here, is in theory we could write some code. So we could write some code to go read that source file and loop through the sheets, look to see if the sheets is named what we expect or not, and if it doesn't, we would just rename the sheet. So we could have code that would do this for us in a map prescript. Depending on how the frequency of this problem is, that may or may not be worth the effort of writing if it's just the once in a blue moon. But if it's something that happens often, also be something to look into versus doing it manually. That way you don't have to get errors and we don't have to do anything manually. But as we can see, my map did run successfully once I switched the sheet. I could also have just opened it up in Excel and again renamed it and then reran it as is, and we'd expect to be fine. So that would work as well.